Hi, a surprising thing has happened. This baby was born looking like an old man, so the parents were shocked by the condition of their child. This old-looking child also understands that his body is turning into youth as he grows. When he grows up and starts dating, he faces problems, and the reason is that his wife is getting old when he is a child boy. Let's take a look at the story of this amazing man. If you like the movie, don't forget to like, comment, and share. The movie begins with an elderly woman named Daisy lying sick in a hospital bed. Meanwhile, a girl named Caroline approaches the old woman and sits next to her. At this time, Daisy tells her past memories to Caroline. In her memory, she narrates that there was a famous blind watchmaker in the city. The watchmaker's son was also a soldier, so he said goodbye to his mother and father and went to war. The clockmaker's father is employed by the government and starts making the city's big clock. After just 4 months, a letter came saying that their son had died in the war. The watchmaker was very sad, so he decided to take apart the town's watch to remember all the people who died in the war. He wanted to go back in time to save their kids and hope that their sons would return home one day. Everyone in the town remembered the clock as the gift from the watchmaker, who was never seen again. The old woman, Daisy, asks the younger woman, Caroline, to get a book from her suitcase. She tells her to open the book and read the pages. Caroline sees a few keepsakes stuck to the diary. Caroline reads the will. The will doesn't have any money or belongings, but it contains messages for Caroline that Benjamin can recall. When the war was declared over, the families of the soldiers who died were sad, but many people in New Orleans were celebrating the end of the fighting. War is tricky because it brings both sadness and celebration. A man runs quickly and nervously through the happy crowd to reach his home. He comes home to find his wife, who is dying after she just had a baby. The sick woman asks him to promise to be kind and take care of her child before she leaves. Thomas goes to the crib and bends down to see the crying baby, thinking he might get sick. He clumsily lifts him up and runs out of the house. He puts a cloth inside the baby's blanket and leaves the baby on the steps of a cheerful house by the alley. A couple is talking happily outside their house. The man almost stepped on the baby on the stairs, but he quickly lifted his foot and jumped over him. The woman unwraps the baby, showing them the strangest baby they have ever seen. The couple reacts with surprise and laughter. The man tries to convince her to leave the baby, but the woman picks up the baby and takes him inside the house. She keeps him in her room and helps older people at the shelter. She calls the doctor to her room. The doctor says the boy is blind because of cataracts, can't hear, has stiff hands and feet, and has arthritis. The doctor says that he is not a baby, but an old man getting weaker and closer to death. Queenie feels sorry and really wants to keep him, but the doctor tells her that not everyone can be saved. Queenie gently brings the baby to the place where old people meet and names the baby Benjamin. Benjamin finds a home where Queenie takes care of him in the shelter. When Benjamin was young, he spent his early years believing that he was an old person like those living in the shelter. He was an old man who enjoyed having fun, but he could only get around in a wheelchair. Queenie stays by his side as he grows up. The shelter often gets visitors for birthday parties and funerals, and Benjamin watches people come and go. This makes him wonder why he is still alive. On Sundays, families of elderly people visit the shelter for Thanksgiving. An older woman introduces Benjamin to her granddaughter Daisy, a pretty girl with red hair and blue eyes. He fell in love right away when he met Daisy. After serving lunch on Thanksgiving, Queenie tells everyone she is going to have a baby. While Benjamin is dealing with the news, Daisy starts to talk about her feelings and connect with him. One night, the two friends lit a candle under a bed in the basement and told each other secrets. Benjamin says he doesn't really appear as old as he looks, and Daisy believes he is different from other people. Daisy's grandma sees them acting badly and gets mad at both of them. As time goes on, Benjamin notices more changes in his body. One day, he goes to a dock with an older man and finds work on a boat. Working by the sea makes Benjamin feel happy. He makes friends with Captain Mike. Captain Mike takes Benjamin to a bar where they drink and hang out with women. She is surprised that he keeps going and doesn't get tired while they are together. On his way home from the place, A car stops next to Benjamin on the road. He calls Benjamin to the car and tells him his name is Thomas Button. The two friends go to a fancy bar and talk about Benjamin's illness. Later that night, Thomas drives him home and asks if he can come see him sometimes. It's another Thanksgiving day, and Daisy spends the day with Z on the tugboat. Captain Mike starts the boat, just as Benjamin wants. Benjamin's old girlfriend passes away one day. There, he realizes that his life is different from everyone else's in the shelter. He says goodbye to her parents and the shelter with love, and they all wish him safety and happiness in return. Benjamin promises to send Daisy a postcard from wherever he goes. His time in the sea was long and painful, but Daisy always sends a letter after each postcard. In the meantime, Daisy is training to become a professional ballet dancer. Benjamin and his team visit strip clubs and pubs whenever they come ashore. During a trip, Benjamin stays at a hotel and meets a woman named Elizabeth and her husband Walter, who is actually a spy. One night, when he was having trouble sleeping, he met Elizabeth. They support each other on many nights. He goes to the hotel lobby when he can't sleep, and she is there alone without her husband. Benjamin loves Elizabeth, but she is already married to someone else. Benjamin shares the bad news with Daisy. Even though Daisy is doing good at work, the news made her very upset. Benjamin spends many nights with Elizabeth, and he slowly becomes close to her. Their relationship looks great until one night, Elizabeth doesn't come to their special place in the lobby anymore. Benjamin learns how to cope with losing Elizabeth when the war starts at sea. The team is preparing to help with a rescue, but their tugboat is stuck during a military emergency. The enemies kill their leader and some team members, and the tugboat wrecks because they feel defeated. Benjamin is grateful to be alive and says goodbye to his friends who died with the tugboat. Benjamin goes back to the shelter and sees the cheerful old dog, Queenie. Even though they feel sad about the sea and have lost something in the shelter, they both feel very grateful and sorry at the same time. One calm morning, Daisy visits the shelter. Daisy hugs Benjamin, but he remembers that she was just a girl when he left. Now, when he comes back, she has grown into a beautiful woman. Daisy and Benjamin go out for the evening to enjoy each other's company. Benjamin begins to love Daisy because she dances so well. Before the night ends, she kisses him and wins him over. She goes home feeling sad because Benjamin says no to her. The next night, an old friend named Thomas visits the shelter and takes Benjamin out to dinner. During their meal, Thomas tells Benjamin that he really enjoys being with him. He takes Benjamin to the button factory and tells him that Benjamin is his son. He shows her around his house and introduces an old picture of Benjamin's mother, Caroline. Benjamin leaves Thomas's house feeling confused and hurt. Later, he returns to the Button's house and takes him on a morning trip to the lake, where Thomas passes away. Benjamin goes to New York for Daisy's performance. He falls in love with the beautiful Daisy on stage again. After the show, he goes to see her behind the stage. Benjamin gets jealous and leaves the party when a friend kisses Daisy on the lips. She runs after her, but decides to leave too when she hears that Benjamin is happy for her boyfriend. Benjamin spent his days riding his motorcycle and fixing things at the shelter. One day, he gets a sad letter and goes to a hospital in Paris. Daisy is hurt in many places after getting hit by a taxi a few days ago. Benjamin wants to take her home, but Daisy tells him to leave her alone. The hurt Benjamin tried to cope with his pain by having many one-night flings. One day, Daisy meets Benjamin again, and they end up spending the night together. The two of them enjoy being together and making love in various locations and types of weather. Over time, Benjamin's illness begins to make their relationships more difficult. Daisy is concerned that Benjamin might see her as an old lady one day, but she tries not to think about it too much because she knows he loves her a lot. The news of Queenie's death makes Benjamin and Daisy very sad, but they eventually get through it as time goes by. Benjamin sells his dad's big house so he can live with Daisy in their own smaller home. Daisy feels very sad about getting older, but she tells Benjamin that she will try to accept it. Daisy starts her own ballet class and shares that she is pregnant with Benjamin's baby. Benjamin becomes very worried that the baby might be like him or that he won't be able to be the baby's dad. Daisy calms him down by saying that she will do what it takes to help their family. 9 months later, Daisy is very happy to have her first baby and names her after his mom, Caroline. Caroline feels sad after reading the diary, but she continues reading. Benjamin realized how serious his sickness was when he noticed that their child needed a true father, not just someone to have fun with. Even though he loved his wife and daughter, he decided to give them all his things and leave to deal with his sickness. Caroline looks at the sad messages on the postcards her dad has sent her over the years. Benjamin spent his life looking for meaning in many different places. One day, Benjamin, who looks like a young person, wants to go see Caroline and Daisy. When he arrives, he discovers that Caroline has married Daisy's dad. Daisy and Benjamin spent their last special night together at a hotel. Years passed without them seeing each other, but a man asked Daisy to give him his diary. When he was younger, Benjamin played a well-known song on the piano, even though he had dementia. The old Daisy looks after the confused young Benjamin until the government in Louisiana changes the town's watch. Strangely, his years of forgetfulness and suffering came to a stop. The hurricane fully hit New Orleans just as Caroline finished reading the diary. When the city was flooded, the tale of Benjamin and the rebuilt watch came to an end. The movie ends here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thank you.